The pursuit of the present immorality is a denial of the resurrection. There's another goal of transhumanism you need to be aware of. There's a whole thing happening in technology today called transhumanism. And the announced goal of transhumanism is the ultimate goal. There are 4 technologies that are racing in incredible speed. Genetics, robotics, nanotechnology, and artificial intelligence. Those 4 are racing to an area we call collectively transhumanism. The goal of transhumanism ultimately, and this is described by them in great detail, is to transfer one's consciousness, and that's really a software issue, into a more functional or artificial environment. If you can transfer your consciousness into, say, a very advanced computer, you can then transfer it into another body that's more better designed than the one you have. That means you have a form of immortality. You're just temporarily resident in this body that you're in now. Transhumanism has as its goal to be able to transfer that consciousness. Well, that's a path. That's what the practitioners in that field are aspiring to. And I think Genesis 11 has the answer. God will draw a line in the sand and say, here and no further. Because there he declares that the thing he's trying to avoid, he says they'll be able to do anything they imagine to do. That's what led to the confusion of tongues. And I think God will find another way to draw a line in the sand. The increasingly rapid developments in genetics, robotics, and nanotechnology and artificial intelligence is leading the race in an emerging field. There is a race going on, well-funded, among the major countries trying to create the super soldier, taking those technologies and creating a warrior that is a superior kind of warrior using those technologies. And it's very classified, very hidden, but very aggressively funded in Russia, in China, in the US, and probably, I'm sure, elsewhere. And so the whole transhumanism, we have materials on that for those who are interested. Let's move back to this, verse 22. For as in Adam all die, even so in Christ shall all be made alive. Notice that word all, I like that. All that are Christ, that is. We're not talking about universalism here. All those that are Christ's will be made alive. But every man in his own order. Christ, the first fruits, afterward they that are Christ's at his coming. And first fruits and afterward. And so you want to study the Feast of First Fruits, the Feast of Shavuot, as it's called. The Feast of First and the Feast of Shavuot. Sometimes called the Feast of Weeks, or sometimes called Pentecost. You want to study that. And first and then, see, first man in his own order then. Notice that Christ says nothing about the resurrection of unbelievers. They have a resurrection too, but that's at the end of the 1,000 years at the great white throne.